Yo, thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. We greatly appreciate it. In this video, we have a very exciting, interesting topic to talk about, and that is DPSing in New World. So we're bringing this up because there was some recent news, or I guess it's not too recent now, but in the November patch notes the New World released, that they talked about a critical hit system. And the reason we are talking about DPSing in New World is because the critical hit system came along with some other news about tanking and healing in New World. And we released a video about that very topic not too long ago. So make sure you go check that video out, and we'll link that into the description below. But as far as DPSing goes in New World, we're just going to kind of go over some of these points they added for the critical hit system, and then kind of talk about how that ties into DPS, and then a little bit about the Holy Trinity of MMOs and how that's going to affect New World in the future. So let's kind of talk about these points that they stated here in the patch notes. So the first one says all weapons have been assigned a critical hit chance. Currently they range from 3 to 5% depending on weapon, but we can expect more variation and weapons focused on critical hits in the future. So Red, what do you think about them adding a critical hit chance to all weapons across the board now?
I think it's good, man. I really do think that the more things that they add, like crit chance and all the other traditional things that we're kind of used to in MMOs, I think the better the combat or the overall systems are going to feel. You know, I know people are really hesitant to kind of get on board with the direction that New World is going as far as like making it closer, you know, more of an MMO and less of like a survival PvP game. But I think they've already like crossed that threshold to where now like it would just be a disservice to the game if they didn't start adding in these very deep systems that kind of facilitate building out your character around a certain type of role or a certain type of play style.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And it also says, you know, the last little blurb there says we can expect more variation and weapon focused on critical hits in the future. So I would very much assume that there's going to be some additional weapons added. We've already seen a couple added, notably the spear. And I would assume that there's going to be some other weapons added that are very much focused on probably critical hit damage would be my guess. So the next point says all weapons also have a critical hit modifier, which determines the extra damage they do when they crit. And then critical hits and backstabs don't currently get called out in damage text with orange color like headshots do, but they are going to very soon. So what do you think about that? What do you think about all weapons that also have a critical hit modifier, which determines the extra damage they do when they crit? I guess that's kind of ties into basically the same point we kind of made, right?
Yeah, and I think it's good, man. I definitely do think that the game needed you know, some more visual things that kind of show that you're critting or how much damage you're doing. Obviously, you don't want to go overboard on those type of things, but then if you don't add things like that in like a game or an MMO, typically you have people that are looking for like add-ons or mods or something like that to enhance the experience to make it the way that they want it. So I like the number system. I think it's good. I think it's always good to have those type of features, having the option to shut them off as well, because I know a lot of people get into like role playing and like immersion and everything like that. And you definitely want to like cater to that group of people as well. So I like the idea of adding those things. I'll always have them on, the numbers and the colors and everything. But I think definitely they need a toggle off button as well.
Yeah, I like it too, man. I like the feeling whenever I walk up to somebody and backstab them and you see the orange text fly up about, you know, you do this extra damage. That's always a good feeling. So they also have that perks that modify crit chance and crit modifier will be added in the future. So we do know from our previous video that we released that tanking or threat generation also has some new perks that are in the game. And now they're also adding perks that modify crit chance and the crit damage modifier. So that again ties into this whole thing. So what I want to kind of talk about now is, do we now clearly have a DPS role in the game? We know we have a tank and a healer with the threat generation system, the way they adjusted healing. So now with the crit, does this crit system alone, does that now push us towards saying that we can clearly have a DPS build in New World?
I mean, the crit system alone, probably not. The you know, the concept of having a healer and a tank, you've almost have, or like most certainly going to have some people building out their characters to deal damage in the most effective way possible. New World really hasn't shown us anything officially of, there being like, group oriented content to where you have to have a tank, a healer, and DPS. But I would think it's coming, man. They have definitely kind of went in the direction of showing us that you will need to hold threat. And they definitely, have insinuated or shown that healing can cause threat. So I would assume damage could also probably increase your threat as well. So then you think about like, well, why are they even adding a threat system to New World? And then you just think about, okay, well, there's going to be some content that is, centered around group play and everything like that because, just because, that's just how MMOs work. So, yeah, dude, I definitely think that there will be like builds in the game that will be required in content or to complete content that is going to be damage based for sure. I don't think there's any question about that right now.
Yeah, I think so, and I would have to agree that I don't think that crit damage alone it defines obviously a DPS class, but I do think that what this does is this clearly even more so pushes them over the threshold, saying that we now have the Holy Trinity in MMOs, and we are going to have healer, tank, and DPS, and they're continuously pushing in that direction now. So now I don't think there's any question about it. We have that in New World now, and I for one, I'm kind of excited to see where they take this and what kind of content they add. So I also think that you're correct that we are going to get some group-based stuff that's going to require kind of tank, healer, DPS combo, and you're going to maybe have to put out enough, like as it is right now. There's not really a situation you get in where you just have to put out just a ton of damage to clear a boss or something like that. You don't have to have a certain amount of DPS to win a fight. I think that could be potentially the case moving forward. So I guess we'll see, man. Do you have anything else to add?
No. I think things like the crit system are important to New World's long-term success because, again, it just diversifies the way you can build your character or what your strengths of your character are going to be. So I'm looking forward to see them expand upon things like the crit system that kind of keep character building and damage in general interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. What I don't want to see, though, is I don't want to see them go too far down this traditional MMO rabbit hole where we have DPS meters and DPS gauges and we're trying to do parsers to figure out our damage. I don't want to go that route at all. I hope we don't go that route at all. I still really, really, really very much enjoy the core combat of the game with the dodge rolling and the blocking and the well-timed attacks and using your abilities at the right time and all of that gameplay aspect that we have now. So I hope that they stay away from that. It's fine to implement the Holy Trinity, I think, in this manner. Just keep the core gameplay the same. That's all I'm asking.
I agree, man. And they haven't shown us anything like that they're stepping too far away from the combat. So that's always encouraging to me. But yeah, dude, that's I think probably the worst thing they could do at this point is to step away from their action-based combat system because it's really, really good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, all right, man. Well, I think that about does it, dude. Thank you guys so much for watching. We greatly appreciate you. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for more content just like this and a lot of other New World content coming up very soon, as well as some additional MMO content coming your way. Thanks, guys.